we will begin seated, just to get centered and to connect with our body and our breath. So choose a comfortable seat and use the next 3 breaths to support you in settling into a shape of the body where you feel your breath can flow easily. Feel the shape of your whole body. The size, the density, and feel the weight of the body supported and held. Draw attention to your breath, feeling the sensation of your body breathing. Notice where you sense this. And simply stay present with the next 3 breaths. And with an inhale, lift your gaze or blink the eyes to open. We'll start with a warm-up that articulates all the major joints of the body. They are called moon squats, and I'll show you some alternatives and modifications, and you'll find what works for you. In this class today, I have a couple blocks, a couple yoga blocks, a yoga strap, some of these cushions that go on the balcony chairs, and a blanket. So any of those can be suitable, but oftentimes you get very creative and find things in your home. I get so much inspiration when I do these classes live at the way that each student modifies the shape to fit their unique body. So trust in your own creativity to support yourself. So the moon squat, and begin standing. And stand with your feet about hips distance apart, maybe a bit wider. And there's a shape of the body on the inhale and another shape on the exhale. The inhale shape is a big open star, fingers spread, look up, open the body as big as possible. And the exhale is a squat. So here's a simple squat with the elbows behind the knees where your head bows down and you cross the wrists or the forearms with some fists. You can otherwise take your squat low. Bow your head, cross the forearms with fists. This low squat is quite a deep flexion for the ankle joint. So if you want to support that, if your heels are lifting when you're in a low squat, then you can place something like 2 equally thick books or a couple of blocks under the heels. So that's that one. We'll start here on an exhale, so take a breath and let it go. And inhale to rise up, grow big. Exhale, squat. That was 1. We'll do 4 more. Inhale, grow big, spread fingers. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, sink down. Good. And last 2. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And as you exhale, maybe you hear your knees popping. Good. So our first stretch is a stretch for the hamstrings, and it is called ragdoll or dangling. Yin Yoga, dangling. So the feet are about hips distance apart, and you fold your body forward with the legs relatively straight, but a soft bend in the knees to support your body. You can hold on to elbows here, or let the backs of your hands just rest on the floor. I'll start our timer. There it goes. And if you want to modify this, you can modify it in a way that we did for the squat. sitting the elbows behind the knees so that there's a nice downward angle of the back of the torso and the head. You can also modify this by leaning the pelvis on a wall, and you get lots of great benefits of the stretch with a bit extra support. So let your body relax here. Yeah, sometimes sighing can really help to create that relaxation response in the body. I'll turn sideways so you get a sideways view. Good. Let's take our time. So we're about halfway here, and I'll introduce a breath technique called breathe to relax. This is a nose-to-mouth breathing. Inhale through the nose for the count of 4. Exhale out the mouth to the count of 8 with the sound of a ha sound, like an ocean wave. I'll count it out for you. Take a breath and let it go. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And let your body be as relaxed as possible here. That will really support you in opening up to the stretch. Good. And that is time. Release your hands. Slide the palms up your legs towards your hips. With an inhale, come to a flat back. And exhale there. And then inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Oh, that feels amazing. I hope for you too. Give your legs a shake. And we'll move on to our next stretch. So this stretch is called Dragon. In the Science of Stretching course, it's called Blaster. Step your right leg back behind you, and I'll grab some props to show some modifications and supports. Yeah. So the left leg steps forward. I'll take this closer. And you walk the right leg back, toe to knee, behind you. It's a low lunge, this stretch. And then you bring your forearms to rest on some blocks, or could even be a chair, if that's going to support you. And whatever height works best for you, set the forearms down in support, and have your knee be above the ankle or behind it. Yeah. And I'll start the timer. Good. So if your knee comes way out beyond your toes, that's a different stretch called overstepping dragon, which can be really nice for the calf muscle. But here we're focusing on the hip flexor, which is that muscle responsible to lift our leg when we're walking forward. And this is also a hamstring stretch, and we've already done some opening of the hamstring with that dangling or ragdoll pose. Here, you can choose to keep your toe tucked or untucked behind you. And I haven't mentioned it, but I will say that if you want to support your back knee with some cushion, so you can put some folded blanket or a pillow under the knee, so it has a bit of a softer support below it. Good. And here is one of those stretches where when you take a deep breath, you can really feel it as a support and a resource for the muscles which are being stretched. We're going to do 2 rounds of breathe to relax here. Take a breath and let it go. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the stretch deepens, although we're at the end, You can always lower your body down by removing support or lowering support. Good, and that is time. Slowly rise up. My favorite release after this stretch is to take the front knee back towards the table and do a couple hip circles in one direction and a couple hip circles in the other direction. Good. We'll switch over to the other side. Now organize those props for yourself, and I'll start the timer. Here we go. Dragon. So you may notice that one side of your body is a little tighter, one side might be a little more flexible. The practice, so a regular stretching practice, a regular Yin Yoga practice, is to bring some symmetry to the right and the left sides of the body. So that's your practice. That's the individual yogi's practice. And that can be coming a little closer to your edge, which I'll talk about in a moment. So coming closer to a 7 or a 7+ intensity, let's say, on the side that's tight, and being a bit softer on the side which is already flexible, so that with time you can bring some harmony towards left and right side of the body. When we come into these stretches, we arrive at an edge space. It's a space because it shifts, and you may feel it shifting as your nervous system releases and a little pocket of space opens up within the stretch. That edge space is around a 7 out of 10 intensity. It's enough to feel the potential to stretch the body, and it's just enough to be able to hold a conversation. So if you can talk and your face, mouth, and jaw can be relaxed within the stretch, then you know that you've found your edge space. Good. And the last 10 seconds, really let go and relax into the ending of this stretch. Good. That is time. Set your palms down and step your front knee back to draw a couple of circles in one direction with the hips, pelvis, and a couple of circles in the other direction. Good. All right. So the next stretch is something called reclining hero. It is a stretch for the quadriceps, and those are great big muscles. They're some of the biggest in the body. And you may also feel it in the low back and the hip flexors. So this stretch can have all kinds of various modifications. Here is how I support my body with a couple of blocks here. I put one on the high and one on the medium in a T. Although you can cover this structure with cushions, I've also heard that this stretch becomes accessible when done in bed, in the softness of the mattress. So if this is a new stretch for you, then starting out very soft is a great idea. Okay, so we sit down on the heels or just between the heels and set the props there. Ready? And then you lean back. So without the props, you can feel the stretch by leaning back with the torso. And there's also a very simple movement of the pelvis, which is called a anterior pelvic tilt, where the pubic bone comes up in this direction of the heart, or a tucking of the tailbone can be described as. And that really brings a stretch there onto the quadriceps, the upper thighs. I'll start the timer and we'll come in. Another modification for this stretch is to do one leg at a time, because it is a big flexion for the knee joint. So sometimes if you've got stories in your knee, then doing simply one leg at a time can be a great support here. So we're 30 seconds in, and as that edge state shifts, feel free to adjust the props behind your body so you can deepen into the stretch and keep the intensity at a 7. Good. So we come into this shape and hold the body relatively still and get to be the witness to what is happening in the body. Reaching an edge state of 7 can be quite intense and wonderful life training, where you can still hold a sense of present when things become intense in and around you. So I like to think of the breath as an anchor, the breathe to relax as a way to anchor the attention and to keep a steadiness in the shape. You can also anchor attention onto sensation in the body. So switching off the judging mind and simply labeling and noticing and feeling what you feel with a sense of honesty and clarity. I feel some sort of a buzz in my left knee. Interesting. Yeah. That is time. So to come out safely from this pose, I like to place my hands on the feet and then draw the elbows under the body. Push into the elbow points to rise forward, slide the hands back, and come forward as symmetrically as I can. Come all the way forward, and we'll do a release, which is holding something strong for a full breath. So come into a plank, which feels pretty funky after that, and take a full inhale and let go of the whole breath with the exhale. And then set your knees down, and we'll move into the next stretch, which is a wide leg forward fold. Okay, so I like to sit up on a blanket when I do this pose because it adds a little bit of ease to my lower back. I've put the blanket off one of the edges of the yoga mat so that when I take my legs wide, then they have something soft underneath them. I'm gonna up the time to 3 minutes for this stretch because there is something pretty magical that happens at around the 2-minute mark. Okay, so to support your body, if coming forward beyond a vertical spine seems something near impossible for your body, you can support the knees here. So lifting them creates that little extra space to have a forward motion in the torso and with the arms and head. Otherwise, you can support the forearms raised up or add any type of support for your body that will. Yeah, here's where you can get really creative, and I'm always so amazed at the students in the room and what they come up with. Sometimes it can feel quite nice to support the head as well, with a block, for example, or a big yoga bolster. I've started the timer here. Good, so we've got 3 minutes here in this stretch because it is a very big one. And when we stretch places like the inner leg seam, adductors they're called, the nervous system comes towards a high alert state to protect us from danger, from overstretching the body, particularly when we stretch things that are close to the reproductive system, since the nervous system thinks that our sole purpose here in this life is to reproduce. And so we've got the muscles which are stretching, but also the protective coating around the muscle, which is called the fascia. And that's a very plastic-like substance, so that when we change the shape of fascia, it's not so elastic as muscles to come back. We're doing great. We're at the We've got 2 minutes to go here, and you might start to feel a little bit of space opening up, a little bit of ease, how that place of your edge is really shifting. Good. Check in with your jaw and your mouth and let those be extra relaxed. Good. So ways of sort of quieting that nervous system response, that stretch reflex that protects us, is with the breath to relax technique. And it's also a conscious relaxing of the body. In the Science of Stretching course, there's the wonderful expression of imagine your body as a wet noodle, so an overcooked piece of spaghetti. And we can simply do that with our attention, that creating that relaxation. And you might really feel your body opening up here to this stretch. It's really amazing. Good. We'll do 2 rounds of breathe to relax, and that will take us right up to the end. Take a breath and let it go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So good. That is time. Slowly rise up. And lean back, bend the knees so you can draw the legs to hips distance with soles of the feet to the floor. Lean back on the hands and then drop the knees one way and then the other for a release, which is called a windshield wiper. It's also a nice little low back stretch here. So a couple more of those. And we'll do the very last stretch of the practice, which is a seated forward fold. So you can sit up on some folded blanket again. And here, it might be good to support the knees. So we're going to do a seated version of the very first stretch that we did that was called dangling or ragdoll. And this one is seated. And then some sort of block structure here between the legs. Good. I'll set our timer for 2 minutes and here we go. So coming forward and receiving some opening really into the hamstrings. So we all have very unique bodies. And although this is a hamstring stretch, you might feel it in other places of the body, like your lower back, around the pelvis, maybe your shoulders, your neck. And that is okay. We're not all built the same. Good. So as your edge state shifts, feel free to adjust those props below you and use your creativity. So here, although you might be tempted to hold your feet and pull your body into a stretch, I invite you to turn your palms upwards. This simple gesture of receiving. So we receive time and we receive the invitation of gravity. Nature doesn't hurry, and yet tree canopies touch the sky, flowers bloom open. Yeah. So here we are, the body is very slowly moving at the speed of nature. Good. We'll do 2 rounds of breathe to relax to take us right to the end. Take a breath. Let it go. Inhale, nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We're at time. Slowly rise up. You can draw the palms up the legs. That feels very soothing. Give your legs a good massage. Yeah, remove the props and take a couple monkey fist claps to release the legs there. Okay, that is all. We will close with a quiet stillness practice. So sit tall in any way that, in any shape, on a chair even, in a way that you can feel your breath easy. And settle into your body and feel your physical body. Just feel, notice how it feels right now. Maybe you notice it feels different than at the start. Shift focus to your body breathing. Notice how that feels. We'll do a breath technique to close, which is a balanced breath, an even inhale, exhale, 4 and 4. Take a breath. Let it go. Breathe in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale nose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale nose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to blink your eyes, to open or lift your gaze. Thank you for your practice, for your time today.